Welcome to The Pulse, where we delve deep into the issues and ideas that are shaping the future of education. I'm your host, Rick Surrency, Superintendent of the Putnam County School District, and each week we'll be talking to teachers, administrators, and other experts in the field about the latest trends, best practices, and most pressing concerns in education. Whether you're a teacher, a parent, or just someone who cares about education, this podcast is for you. So sit back, relax, and let's dive into the pulse. Hi, this is Superintendent Rick Surrency from the Putnam County School District, and welcome back to our podcast called The Pulse. And I'm very honored today to have two members of our mental health staff from the Putnam County School District, Kimberly Simmons, who's our lead therapist, and we also have Brandon Willingham, who also has joined us in the past year, right, Brandon?
Yes.
Yeah, so welcome, and we're here today to talk about relatively new initiative that we started with our mental health program, and that is Resilient Roots.
Yes.
So first of all, both of y'all introduce yourselves. Just tell the audience what your role is and anything else you want them to know about your department, and then we'll get into the Resilient Roots program. Okay. So Kim, lead us off.
Sure. Hi, I'm Kimberly Simmons, and I'm the Mental Wellness Clinical Supervisor for our department. And this is going into my 8th year with the school district. And yeah, we're just excited to have this new program and to be able to offer family therapy through Resilient Roots.
Very good. Brandon?
Hi, I'm Brandon, registered mental health therapist here with the Putnam County School District. Been here since the beginning of the year, employed, and it's been a wonderful experience.
So welcome, Brandon. Good to have you. And I didn't realize you've been here 8 years.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like that.
It's been flying by.
It has.
Well, it's good to have both of you, and I think we're really excited to hear about this, and especially what's happened over the past 2 summers, and it's kind of a unique program too. So Kim, give us kind of an overview of what we mean by the Resilient Roots program.
Okay, yeah. So we decided to start the Resilient Roots program primarily because we're getting a lot of individual mental health referrals in from different schools. And we had a lot of identified students who, they had family systems issues, and we were seeing that was really the core of what was going on with them and, the cause of a lot of their symptoms. And so we decided, we've got to do something a little bit more, hence Resilient Roots. We wanted to get to the root of the issues and really involve our families more in our therapy program. So that's why we started the Resilient Roots.
So how about the why? I mean, if you can talk about what led to this, or, we talk about family dynamics and all. So, explain a little bit about how the family dynamics maybe might influence some of the behaviors of students at school.
Yeah, so we have students, who are dealing with grief, loss of family members, maybe just broken homes, separated families, blended families, all those things, like you said, have a big play sometimes on mental health symptoms and their ability to focus in school. And so we really want to promote family cohesion. That's kind of our why behind it. Mm-hmm. And to promote communication, in families. And if you can have a healthy family, or at least one that communicates about problems, right? Because there's no family without problems. And so it's really just, how do we deal with it? How do we overcome certain things? And so we wanted to be able to, once again, get to that root issue of the family and build upon that.
We always talk about the normal family. Well, I think we've all learned there is no definition of a normal standard family, because really in this day and time, may or may not have both parents at home, may not have parents at home at all. And, there's so many factors. So I applaud you for doing that, because I know our kids can't be okay at school unless they know things are settled at home. Yes. And I know that's a big factor. So, well, Brandon, I know you've been involved, especially this past year, but tell me kind of some of the things that you've seen, some of the stuff that you've, as far as some of the feedback you received from families after having gone through this past summer.
Yeah. This may be a bit of a reiteration of what Kim said, but I think we found a large part of some of the issues stem from communication. That's one of the biggest parts of being family, is working through all of the things tied in with communication and family cohesion. So I think that's probably been the largest takeaway.
Mm-hmm. So give me an example of, if you don't mind, I don't want to put you on the spot, but a lot of times my kids used to come home from school and I'd say, how's school? And they say, fine. And that's probably the only time we talk, before they go off and do something. But any tips on some of the things you might have recommended to families, how you can build that communication?
Well, I think that's probably one of the most wonderful parts about this program. It's only a 5-week program, but during those 5 weeks, we've sort of crammed in and packed in some different unique challenges where families have to actually be present with one another. Mm-hmm. So there's collaboration with one another during the program. They're face-to-face. They talk about problems. They talk about the good things and the bad things. Mm-hmm. So it's coming face-to-face with it.
You know, it's a lot easier, too, when you have an objective person like yourselves there. A lot of times that kind of opens those channels up where they can do that, when otherwise, when they're left alone, that may never happen. So, mm-hmm. And I've seen that in other therapy sessions where it's good to have that non-involved person that can actually foster that relationship. So, you know, I know there's a lot of talking about communication, and believe me, I experienced it too in my own home, is a challenge of screen time. I mean, kids are always on that screen, and it's probably a very competitive thing between the screen and actually, talking to the family members. So I know you probably have dealt with that too. So, and of course, one good thing, by the way, is we're cutting out a lot. We're limiting the screen contact at school. And I've been hearing that's going pretty good, actually.
Yes, I was very excited about that.
Yeah. Matter of fact, I talked to one of the administrators, and they said one thing they didn't anticipate was at lunch now, the kids are actually louder because they're actually talking to each other now.
They're talking to each other, yeah. They're
instead of looking at a screen. So I guess that's a good problem to have. Yeah. So I know one thing that has been very instrumental in this whole thing is, Kim, you want to talk about how the United Way has really supported this entire process?
Yeah, so we applied for a grant through United Way, and we did receive that grant. And so they gave us $10,000 so that we can expand upon our Resilient Roots program. And so our goal with the Resilient Roots program is really we've been offering it during the summer, the past 2 summers actually. And so we would like to be able to offer it during the school year, and then even maybe add on like a part 2 for the summertime as well. And so Brandon has been really working hard on getting that settled and figured out. But yeah, we would like to just expand upon it and keep reaching more families, and this will help us do that. So we really appreciate United Way and their donation to us.
Yeah, and I want to thank United Way too. And that's why this community is so great. We have so many partners out there that really pour into us. And this is just one example of how the United Way is helping us to continuing to reach out to kids when there might be other resource challenges, with us. They step in and help that. So thank you, United Way. And Brandon and Kim mentioned about part 2. And I know that this past year, if I'm not mistaken, you took the lead this past year?
Yes, sir.
So tell me what part 2, or tell me what next summer is going to be like.
Okay.
Or how might it be different than this past summer?
Sure. Part 2 may look like, and of course the title is Resilient Roots. And as you know, with plants, you have to continually feed them, water them. So it's just to build upon what's already there. And some of that may look like additional resources and just sort of strengthening that collaboration piece and building on the communication.
So it really is sustaining what you've already started, kind of building on that. And what do you see? And we talked about the feedback earlier, but have you talked to any of the students who have been through last summer and this summer? Have you noticed any changes at school? Or, of course, a lot of the changes are happening in home, but really the idea is to also help them in their school, I'm sure. So any feedback on that? Any observations on what you're seeing with the children at school, or is it too early yet to see that?
No, I mean, I think, even some of the students that we had go through the Resilience Roots program, some of them have actually graduated out of individual therapy as well. And so you'll see that as families start to make changes, the students really, they become healthier. And the resentment, the shame, the things that were once there, are not controlling their everyday life. And their grades get better, their attendance gets better. The family unit as a whole, gets healthier. And so that's really the goal of all of this. We want productive and healthy kids and families, in Putnam County. I
know a lot of discipline problems are, everything results in some kind of human behavior. And I know discipline problems in the past, when students had continual discipline issues, we would say, if you went and got some therapy or you did something to address the issue, then that could maybe be some type of consequence, maybe substitute that for some type of suspension or whatever. Is that being offered at all? Is that something you're considering with some of the students that might exhibit some behavioral issues? Is this something you might recommend as an intervention?
Yeah, definitely. And so we want to, once again, in this expansion of the program, we'd like to target some of our students who are really struggling with those issues, or, who have habitual discipline type issues. And yeah, that would be something that we would look into.
Yeah. And
offer.
and I'm sure absenteeism,
Yes.
could be an issue too. So it could, and in both those areas, those are areas that every school district wants to address. So, if we can get to the root cause. And so as we wind up, what are some final thoughts? Anything that we haven't talked about you want to make sure our audience hears about? Brandon, what are some things that we haven't asked you, or some things that you think would really be interesting for our audience today?
Well, it's a great program. I highly recommend participation, and it's good for, I think, the entire family. We've been able to see over the past 2 years, over the course of 5 weeks, families come in with, different scenarios, challenges, and as they have been able to work through those and leaving with such a positive review, say, wow, I wish we could have this throughout the school year as well. So it's something really great.
I didn't ask you. I guess I assumed this was junior, senior high, but is this also elementary school age students?
Not at this time.
Okay, so mainly junior, senior high?
Yeah, junior, senior high, and it's free to our family. So if you sign up for it and you're part of our Resilient Roots program, it's at no cost to the family. And I think that's a big deal too. That's a great resource for you to utilize, and we're here to do it. And so when you see that flyer potentially come out here soon, make sure that, if that's something that your family wants to do, that you guys reach out to us and sign up. We do have limited spots, so as they fill in, your name can be put on the list for the next, Resilient Roots program if they do fill up. But we encourage all of our families to participate.
So Kim, can you give us the information? You mentioned a flyer that's coming out. Can you mention some contact information with us, your office phone or email address, and we'll put that on the screen so people can easily refer to it?
Sure. So our mental wellness department number is 386-312-2286, and that's where you can reach us to sign up, or if you have any questions about our services, or maybe even just for individual therapy for your student, you can reach out to our office.
Is there an email address?
Sure, I can give you mine. That's k1simmons@my.putnamschools.org.
Very good. And we'll have that on the screen, and that way they can hopefully generate some people that might be interested. So I want to thank you both for being here today and filling us in on that. And I'd love for you to come back and maybe give us some follow-up information after you have a chance to, implement this again. So I think it's great for Putnam County, and I can't be more proud that we offer that for our students and our families. So hopefully see you back at our next podcast, and thank you for joining us.